Coming up on DITV, major talks for student government. We'll tell you how they voted on key topics.
And later, see how university hospitals have teamed up with one museum on campus.
After 2-game winners, did the Hawkeyes have anything left in the tank against Maryland?
Find out the answer in sports.
We've got rain, we've got snow, and we've got sun. Find out when and weather.
All that and more coming up on this Wednesday, February 20th edition of DITV.
So don't click away, it's all starting now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Kaylin Cluck.
And I'm Becca Scadden. Last night, UI student government voted to uphold a veto on the funding for the First Generation Summit. This decision comes after funding concerns when the Student Senate passed a bill earlier this month to allocate over $20,000 for the summit. Causing much dispute over student government, 29 of the 50 senators voted to pass the legislation, falling short of the 5 votes that they needed to override a veto. Catering, photography, and marketing were all financial concerns regarding the summit. Funding comes from UISG's contingency fund, which is made up of student activity fees. Next week, the committee will have the chance to present a new funding bill for the summit.
While presidential candidates have been making their way to Iowa City, Iowa may be seeing a familiar face in the next few months. Senator Bernie Sanders has announced that he will once again be running for president. The 77-year-old Vermont senator ran in the Democratic contest against Hillary Clinton in 2016. With entering the 2020 race, Sanders says he vows to finish what he started in his last race.
Our campaign is not only about defeating Donald Trump, the most dangerous president in modern American history. It is not only about winning the Democratic nomination and the general election. Our campaign is about transforming our country and creating a government based on the principles of economic, social, racial, and environmental justice. Our campaign is about taking on the powerful special interests that dominate our economic and political life.
Now, Sanders will be entering a big competition as there are already several Democratic candidates. Some of Sanders' former staff have already signed on to different campaigns.
The White House is set to move forward with plans for President Donald Trump's proposed border wall. The plan is to shift existing federal funds to help pay for the construction of the wall. Earlier this week, 16 states filed a lawsuit challenging Trump and his plan to declare a national emergency.
Well, I think I called it exactly, right? Including the fact that they would put them into the Ninth Circuit. That's where they put them in. And I think we'll do very well. We have absolute right to do that. I have an absolute right to call national security. We need strong borders. We have to stop drugs and crime and criminals and human trafficking, and we have to stop all of those things that a strong wall will stop. I could call it a barrier, but I think I don't have to do that so much anymore. We'll call it whatever we want. But the point is that we have to have a stoppage. Billions and billions of dollars of illicit things are pouring through our border.
The national emergency would reallocate billions of dollars towards the border wall. The White House plans to first draw money from the Defense Department's Drug Interdiction Department, then the Treasury's asset forfeiture funds before diverting military construction funds. The military construction funds are only available if a national emergency is declared. Trump was originally requesting $5 billion for the wall, but Congress only agreed to give him just over $1 billion.
And staff at the Graduate Hotel have presented their employees with a complaint letter over alleged mistreatment. A kitchen employee at the Graduate reported that he and other Spanish-speaking employees have experienced inappropriate touching, extra workloads without pay, and no breaks. The complaint letter also reported verbal sexual abuse allegation towards female workers and name-calling done by the managing staff. The Daily Iowan has contacted the Graduate for a comment, but has not yet received a response. For more on the allegations facing the Graduate, you can head to dailyiowan.com.
The university is currently requesting that Iowa Regents reconsider the closing of the Iowa City Labor Center. The Labor Center was set to close June 30th, the final day of the 2019 fiscal year. With the request being backed by UI President Bruce Harreld, Regents approved the closure in November. Since that time, many members of the community have protested for the city to keep the Labor Center open. The proposed closure was part of a mid-year budget cut to the university, Iowa State, and the University of Northern Iowa. Legislators have restored more than $8 million of the $11 million that was originally planned to be cut. The Board of Regents is set to meet next week in Ames. Well, Kaylin, I wish we had some better weather for your birthday this morning, but I guess you're going to have to settle for the snow.
Yes, that's right. I got exactly what I wanted, more snow, but Abby's in the weather studio, so maybe she can give us some good news to see if there's an end in sight. Abby?
Thanks, guys. And I'm sorry, Kaylin, it's not looking that good. This snowy Wednesday morning, we're looking at a high of 34 degrees with an 80% chance of finishing up these snow showers, with snow only accumulating in at an inch before the afternoon ends. Moving into the evening, we're looking at partly cloudy skies with a low of 13 degrees. And switching over to our extended forecast, Thursday is going to have a high of 27 with partly cloudy skies throughout the day and dropping down to a low of 12 by the end of the night. Friday, we're looking at a high of 35 and a low of 32. And some more partly cloudy skies with a little sunshine mixed in for the morning hours, but don't get your hopes up. We've got a 60% chance of rain for Friday's evening hours, and that rain will most likely continue until Saturday morning. With the high in the upper 30s, we've got a 90% chance of rain throughout Saturday afternoon and into the evening hours, turning into a snow mix when those temperatures drop down into the mid-20s. Sunday, we're looking at a little less precipitation, but a lot more wind. And we'll end the extended forecast with Mondays, high in the low 20s with a 60% chance of snow showers in the afternoon and carrying that snow into Monday night. March is right around the corner, you guys, but don't put your winter coat away just yet because this brutal winter is not done with Iowa City. Stay safe out there. Back to you guys at the desk.
The university is currently requesting permission from the State Board of Regents to proceed with a nearly $9 million renovation to Hillcrest Residence Hall. The proposed project would replace floors, wall, and ceiling finishes in dorm rooms, as well as renovate elevator lobbies, corridors, and lounges. If approved, the renovations would begin in the summer of 2020, and money for the renovations would come from University Housing Renewal and Improvement Funds. Hillcrest is currently 8 years old and home to over 800 residents, making it the largest residence hall on the west side of campus.
The University of Iowa Housing and Dining is launching a new pilot program called the Second Year Experience. This program, located in Catlett Residence Hall, is intended to help students build a portfolio for a future career. Students involved in Second Year Experience are encouraged to build their portfolio from major and career choices, academic success, faculty interactions, and more. University Housing and Dining is also offering financial incentives for applicants due to the high cost of living in the residence hall.
The Stanley Museum of Art has teamed up with the University of Iowa Hospital and Clinics to analyze ancient African objects. With more is DITV News reporter Margaret Minders.
Corey Gunlock is the Curator of Arts of Africa, Oceania, and the Americas at the University of Iowa's Stanley Museum of Art. He used computed tomography or CT scanning technology at the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics to further understand the inner contents of 16 pieces of ancient art from Central Africa and the Congo. These works of art are considered power objects and date back to the late 19th century and mid-20th century. They are constructed from wood, clay, metal, horn, and animal skin.
One iteration of what I'm able to see based on specific layers and filters that I'm using in a program called Osirix. And I can manipulate the brightness and the contrast so that I can see different things depending on what I'm looking for.
Although 16 objects were scanned in total, currently 3 of the works reside in the Stanley Museum. One of the objects is considered a Boli figure and is part of the classification Bonima art. Power objects oftentimes encompass cavities that house hidden objects. The contents found in the cavities of these pieces include bone fragments, hair, nail clippings, and much more.
It's limited to the people that are working with objects that are commonly referred to as power objects, because in terms of this class of objects from Africa, they by default have hidden materials that make them effective.
All 3 objects that are housed in the Stanley Museum are part of the Stanley Collection, which is recognized around the world as one of the finest collections of African art in terms of artistic quality. Corey Gunlock hopes to conduct further imaging in the near future to find out more about these works of art. Margaret Minders, DITV News.
Well, Kaylin, it looks like Iowa basketball was also not able to deliver you any birthday presents this year.
Yep, that's right. I'm really getting nothing, but neither is John Rawson. He is in the sports studio. It's his birthday too with Nicole, so let's toss it over to them for an update.
That is true, but Iowa hosted number 24 Maryland last night, and after 2 games where Iowa won by buzzer beaters, Lady Luck finally packed her bags and ditched Iowa City.
Maryland made 12 threes last night with 5 from Anthony Cowan, including this one right here.
But despite this 3 here from Cowan, Maryland's good night from behind the arc, Iowa came back from a 12-point deficit thanks to this huge 3 from Nicholas Baer.
That wouldn't be enough, though, for Iowa, as the Hawks were down by 1 with 7 seconds left, and Iowa used up all their buzzer beater cards against Northwestern and Rutgers.
Hawks fell in this one 66-65.
We know what we can do. We know the opportunity we missed tonight. They're a great team, but we just weren't good enough, and we just didn't play well at all. And they played pretty well, and just in our building, we know we got to get this one. So it's the one that hurts, but we got to move on to the next one.
Garza was clearly upset after the loss, and it's hard not to be when the Magic has recently surrounded this team.
That's right, the buzzer beater fairy sure didn't make her way to Carver last night.
This Iowa team is entertaining. The last 2 games ended in last-second heaves that found the bottom of the net, and Tuesday night the Hawkeyes were put in the same situation with 7.6 seconds left. Down by 1, Iowa had the chance to keep the Magic alive, and the shot that almost was not, and the lack of offense was the reason.
It was a struggle offensively, give them credit for that. We didn't make shots we normally make in the first half. Then we missed free throws coming down the stretch. The last minute of the half had a chance to get a tie. Shots that normally go in by good shooters weren't going in.
As the Magic ran out in Carver Hawkeye Arena, Tyler Cook realizes that those last-second shots usually don't go in.
I was telling the guys in the locker room, I forgot that, the chances of us making game-winning shots at the buzzer isn't, super high. Because after the last 3 games, you would think it is. I think the attitude and the spirit of this team is fine.
Battling for a double bye in the Big Ten tournament, a win at home against Indiana on Friday is a must. Reporting from Carver Hawkeye Arena, Declan Levy, DITV Sports.
Hopefully, it doesn't have to come down to the last second on Friday. Well, that's it for us in the sports studio. With no games today, John, you could celebrate your birthday with the day off.
That's right, so if anyone wants to take me out for dinner, let me know. Back to you at the desk.
Caitlin, when we were younger, the hit band wasn't NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys, but we had the Jonas Brothers.
Yes, that is right, Becca. And fans are rejoicing because the brothers might be reuniting after breaking up after about 6 years ago.
The famous trio is set to release new music as well as a documentary about their reunion.
No release date has been announced, but with all the snowstorms, this is the good news I think everyone needed to hear. So thank you for tuning in to this Wednesday morning edition of DITV.
For more from the Daily Iowan, you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
And if that isn't enough for you, the print edition of the Daily Iowan is on stands now. For DITV, I'm Kaylin Cluck.
And I'm Becca Scadden. Have a great day, Iowa City, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place.